Hello and welcome to the Boogie Trials Royal Weekender. Um, yeah, the weekend hasn't technically started for me, but I'm one of the last time zones because I'm West Coast US, so one of the last time zones to actually, start for the weekend. But we have started already getting prompts. So first we had a live show which I watched part of but not all of because, I have a job. I still have to work a little bit. And then we had a scavenger hunt where we had to find a book with a bunch of different prompts. It was like one word prompts and you had to find that item on the cover of a book, and I'll put up a screen of it over here. But I figured I will go ahead and share the prompts with you on a vlog, because why the hell not? All of these are already on my Instagram. You might have seen it there. But for those of you who don't follow me on Instagram, well, first off, follow me on Instagram. And second, I'm going to share them with you right now. So it's just basically a scavenger hunt. I went through all of my bookshelves to find these books. I just happened to, thank God, have a book for every single one of these prompts except for one, and I just happen to have a library book with it. So there you go. So the first prompt is a mask, and for that I used The Republic of Thieves by Scott Lynch, which we got Masquerade Mask. Next up is an arrow, and I use The Elfstones of Shannara by Terry Books. And if you can see, this dude has a bow. Oh, let's not focus on them, not on me. This dude has a bow, and he's got an arrow with that bow. Next up was a shoe, and that was pretty easy. Cinder. There's a shoe right there. Very straightforward on that one. Next is gold, and the cover of Firefight by Brandon Sanderson is very gold, so use this one. Next is boat, and I used Mad Ship by Robin Hobb. You can see the front of that boat right there. Next is crown, and I used Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I think that's the author. Hey, good on me. Victoria Aveyard's Red Queen. There's a little crown right there. Like the whole cover is nothing but a crown. Next up, which was what I was originally going to use for crown but ended up using for water instead, is Wicked King by Holly Black, where there's a crown in some water. Next up is Mythical Animal, and for this I chose a dragon on the cover of Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. Look at that lovely Daggeron. The next one is door, and this one I actually really struggled with. I do not own a lot of books with doors on it, apparently, but I did find the 10,000 Doors of January, which, as you can see, this background is a doorknob, which means the knob is attached to the door, so it's just a very zoomed in picture of a door, but a door nonetheless. Next is a key to go in the door, and there was keys on that cover too, but there's also keys on the Starless Sea. See, we've got a key there, and a key there, and a key. There's a lot of keys. This is a good book, by the way. Next is a feather, and I went very old school with Finale, where you can see there's feathers all over here. This is a really old book. Comment down below if you read Finale way back in the, 2010 is when that came out or something like that. The next one is another one that I really struggled with, and I was so afraid I wouldn't have a book, and then realized that I had a library book that fit the prompt, and that is Throne. And so, thank you, shiny thing. A Memory Called Empire has this gigantic ass throne right here. So I got a throne. Next is a book, so we need a book on the cover of a book, and I got a lot of books on the cover of Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians. After that is a sword, and I ended up using Strange Candy by Laurel Hamilton. I was originally going to use this as a mask, but then I found one, the Republic of Thieves, had a better mask, so her little smutty cherry right there is my fruit. And for the last prompt is a sword, and I use chain of gold. I was gonna say chains, but it's a single chain of gold, and as you can see right here, she is holding a sword. I had a lot of books with swords. This was just the first one I grabbed. But there we go for the first prompt. Are we excited yet? I still can't read for like another 5 hours. Still have like 5 hours to go till midnight. But I can at least do prompts. I can do something. And I'll probably start reading something else until then that has nothing to do with this weekend. But I'll check back in with you tomorrow or really late tonight when I start reading. Hello, it's just after midnight, so it's time for me to begin my Bookie Trials Royal Weekender. And I'm gonna try to get through a book tonight, and that's gonna be Heartstopper Volume 1. It's a graphic novel, so I should be able to read this in about 30 minutes, I think. That's the goal. Wish me luck. I'll come back and check back in with you as soon as I'm done with this book. Alright, I am done. I'm sorry if you can hear the sprinklers in the background, but I'm tired and I want to go to bed. So I'm going to talk about the book with the sprinkler noises in the background. But this was really cute. It took me, I don't know, like 20 minutes to read maybe. It is about Nick and Charlie. And Nick, I believe, is this character. He is the rugby player and like a jockey type character, but like a sweet guy. He's 100% a cinnamon roll character where he's just very kind and compassionate and nice to everybody. And then Charlie is kind of like a quiet boy. He's gay and he kind of got outed to the school. Got bullied a little bit when he was younger for being gay, and then people got over it really fast because it's 2020 and no one really bullies anybody for being gay anymore. Or at least if they do, they're like super assholes, and hopefully everybody calls them out for being assholes. But he is openly gay, and then they get in a class together. I need to tilt this up. I'm like bending over weirdly to get in frame. So they end up in a class together. What is it called? They're in a class called Form, which this takes place in England, and I am not particularly familiar with the British school system, so I don't know what Form is. I'm guessing from context clues that it's something like homeroom in the US, but I don't really know. But they end up in this class together, end up having to stand next to each other, and then become friends from that. And Nick realizes over the course of quite a few months that he actually really has a thing for Charlie, and he's never been attracted to a man before, and he's not really attracted to men, just attracted to Charlie specifically. And it's a completely freaking adorable story, but it's very short, and I have a hard time like rating this anything above a 3 because it was just like it took me less than 20 minutes to read it. So it's not like something that I'm going to keep coming back to and I got a whole lot out of. It was like a chapter of a book for me. So I still don't really like passionately love graphic novels because it's just so short of a little bite of a story. But I did think this was adorable. This was super, super cute. And I probably will start looking into more graphic novels that I can get from the library, so I'm not paying a lot of money for something that lasts me less than 20 minutes. But yeah, very cute. Definitely got my cinnamon roll character. I will come back tomorrow reading Sea Witch Rising, which is over here. Okay. I'll read this tomorrow and we'll get the rest of the badges. With this one, I will count this one for both the animated cover and the retelling. So come back tomorrow for more badges. Thank you for falling over in the background there, book. Hello, it's Saturday. I just took part in the Queendom's author archery tournament, which is very hard to say quickly, and earned a badge. I think I had earned this badge earlier, but we're just gonna cement it right here and say that I really, really earned this badge. I scored 3 out of 5 because I don't know authors. I'm bad with names. It's like, oh yeah, that was a good book. I don't know who wrote it. But I did okay. I did passable. I also just recorded my TBR for the OWLs, which is why I'm wearing this sweatshirt. Because it's really freaking hot, but I don't have any Harry Potter stuff that is not sweatshirts, so. But I'm going to start reading Sea Witch Rising so we can finish the rest of these prompts. I'm going to switch out shirts, so the next time you see me I'll be in a t-shirt again, probably the one I wore yesterday, because it's social distancing time, people. Like, I'm the only one smelling me. I can wear the same shirt 2 days in a row. If you were interested in seeing my TBR for the OWLs, it will be up next weekend. But yes, reading this now, I will check in either when I finish it or when I get like a good chunk of it done, so you can, or so I can tell you what I think if anything important happens, or if I just read it through and it's a cute little story, then I'll come back then and tell you that I read it through and it's a cute little story. But I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so before I get into actually reading Sea Witch Rising, I kind of want to go a little bit into what Sea Witch is about, because they're 2 really different stories. So Sea Witch is about a young girl named Evie who is a witch, and in the land she lives in, magic is illegal, and she will be put to death for using magic, but it's natural, and she hides it, but she has it. And she has been friends with the prince her entire life, even though she's kind of below him socially. They've always been best friends. And when Evie was very young, her best friend Anna and her and the prince were swimming, and an undertow caught all 3 of them. Or no, I think it was Anna and Evie were swimming and an undertow caught the 2 of them, and the prince saved Evie and let Anna drown because he could only save one. He tried to go back and save Anna but didn't succeed. And Anna has always, or Evie has always felt the blame for like what happened. Girl shows up many years later who looks exactly like Anna, and she basically tells Evie that she's a mermaid who has been temporarily turned into a human unless she can get the prince to fall in love with her. And so even though Evie is in love with the prince, she feels so bad about betraying Anna that, or like living when Anna didn't live, that she's going to do anything possible to help this new girl who looks like her old friend. And a bunch of shit happened that I'm not going to spoil for you. And obviously you can tell by this that Evie eventually becomes the Ursula character in Little Mermaid. But I'm not going to tell you how that happens. And so it's a very, very different story from like the Little Mermaid we know. Sea Witch Rising, on the other hand, Evie has been this octopus-like sea witch for many, many years. And in this story, there are two young twin girls. What are their names? Runa and Aaliyah. And Runa has fallen in love with a young prince that she found drowning in a shipwreck. And she wants to go be with him and make him fall in love with her. And she goes to the Sea Witch to take her fins away and let her go on land and have this boy fall in love with her. So this is like a true Little Mermaid retelling. And I haven't read it yet. That is literally what I got from the synopsis right here. So this one is by far more of a true Little Mermaid retelling than this. This is like an Ursula retelling, or an Ursula origin story, even though her name's not Ursula, it's Evie. And then this is a Little Mermaid retelling, but the character's name's not Ariel. It's Runa. Wait, no. Aaliyah. Runa's the twin sister. Her name's Aaliyah. So, true Little Mermaid retelling. And now I'm going to get into the book. So I'm about halfway done with Sea Witch Rising, and somehow this turned out to be another World War I story. I'm not really sure how I managed this, but this takes place in Denmark in 1914. So the major plot point of this book is they want the country or the kingdom in Denmark where this takes place, or the bad guys basically want the king of this kingdom to sell them the U-boats that he has invented, or that his people have invented. So just before World War I, and I can tell you by a halfway point, just below the halfway point, the original Little Mermaid story where the mermaid had so many days to make the king, or to get true love's first kiss, is basically what it was, or what the story is. She has so many days without her voice to get true love's first kiss, and or she turns into sea foam and goes back down into the sea. She actually becomes, if you remember the Disney movie, the little plants that all of the mermaids who had been cursed by Ursula turned into, and she had like this whole garden of plants, like that same thing exists in here. So she has 4 days, I don't remember how long it was in the original story, but in this story it's 4 days to gain true love's first kiss from the king of this kingdom, or she turns into sea foam, goes back to the sea and becomes one of the little trees in this underground garden. And I'm not going to tell you how that ends, but the story continues from the basic story, and now they are trying to prevent the U-boats from being sold off to Germany. So, it starts out as Little Mermaid, but this is like definitely a retelling. And I really don't know how I managed, out of every book in existence, to somehow manage to read another book about World War One. Like, that's not exactly a popular, like, modern day story. So, only me would this happen to. But it's good so far. Very interesting. I just kind of wanted to stop in and have a little chit chat with you about what's going on, and I'll update you once I'm done. So I finished Sea Witch Rising. That was so good. I cried at the end. It was super sad. To be fair, I cry at like every book, so it's not particularly surprising that I cried reading Sea Witch Rising. But yeah, it was really, really good. I enjoyed this so much. But finishing this book gives me quite a few more badges. So let's go through. This is the Superior Inspiration, so I finished reading a retelling. It is also Simple Soul, the illustrated cover. That's the word I'm looking for. So yay, got that badge too. Then my Soft Heart badge from the Cinnamon Roll character came from Heartstopper. Yay, we showed that one earlier, but we're gonna do it again. Then earlier this week we shared TBR, so we covered that one. I did join a competition. You saw that earlier in this vlog. Then I did, while I was reading this book, I did a 2-hour sprint with the community. So at least I started the sprints, and I did like the first like hour with the community, and then somehow managed to like forget to set a timer, and then just ended up reading for like another 2 hours without paying attention. But I'm gonna count that as doing a 2-hour sprint, because I read for like 2 hours straight, actually like 3 hours straight, without getting up or moving. And then Tome Champion completed a book. I actually completed 2 books, so yay, got that one too. And that's 5. What am I forgetting? Oh yeah. And thank you for watching this weekend vlog. If you enjoyed my content, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below telling me what you thought of Bookie Trials, if you participated, and if you did, what team you were on. And I will see you in the next video.